Tonight, steel warships from the Philippines, United States, Australia, and Canada slice through the South China Sea, their hulls cutting through the waves in a powerful display of unity. The sight of these modern vessels, bristling with advanced technology and weaponry, sends a clear message to the world. The balance of power in these contested waters is being tested. This region is not just a flashpoint for military posturing, it's the lifeblood of global commerce. Every day, thousands of cargo ships and oil tankers navigate these busy shipping lanes, carrying goods, energy, and resources that fuel economies across the globe. The South China Sea is a vital artery, connecting east and west, and any instability here could have far-reaching consequences. International attention is fixed on these joint military exercises, a powerful show of unity and resolve. Cameras flash and reporters take notes as military officials emphasize the importance of cooperation and deterrence. The world watches closely, aware that these maneuvers are more than symbolic gestures. These drills are more than routine, they're a direct response to growing assertiveness and competing claims in these resource-rich waters. The coordinated maneuvers, from helicopter launches to complex formations, demonstrate not only military prowess, but also the willingness of these nations to stand together in the face of rising challenges. The presence of 4 allied navies signals international cooperation and a commitment to upholding sovereign rights. It's a message to both allies and rivals. The rules-based order in these waters will be defended, and no single nation can dominate the region unchallenged. For the Philippines, this is a crucial reinforcement. It's not alone in defending its maritime claims. The support of powerful allies brings reassurance to its people and strengthens its position in ongoing disputes, offering hope for a more secure future. Every maneuver here carries global significance, as any disruption could ripple through the world economy. The uninterrupted flow of trade is essential, and the stakes could not be higher for businesses, governments, and ordinary people worldwide. The South China Sea is a geopolitical chessboard, where every move is calculated and every alliance matters. These exercises could reshape not only military strategies but also diplomatic relationships and security arrangements for years to come. As we continue, we'll explore the motivations behind this unprecedented show of force, the activities unfolding at sea, and the swift, determined reaction from Beijing. The next chapter will reveal how these events are shaping the future of the region and the world. The maritime cooperative activity is a powerful demonstration of unity at sea, bringing together 4 formidable naval vessels: the Philippines' BRP Gregorio del Pilar, the U.S. Navy's USS Mobile, Australia's HMAS Warramunga, and Canada's HMCS Vancouver. These ships, each representing the strength and resolve of their respective nations, have come together for a common purpose: ensuring peace, stability, and security in one of the world's most contested maritime regions. As they patrol the waters west of Palawan, these ships form a united front operating well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Their presence is a clear signal to the world that these nations stand together in upholding international law and protecting sovereign rights. The strategic location, near the South China Sea, underscores the importance of this mission. Over several days, the joint naval drills test not only the capabilities of each ship and crew, but also their ability to work seamlessly as a team. These exercises are more than routine. They are a direct assertion of the Philippines' legal rights under international law and a firm response to expansive territorial claims by other nations. Through coordinated maneuvers and shared tactics, the participating navies demonstrate their readiness to defend the principles of freedom of navigation and overflight. This multinational flotilla is more than just a display of military hardware. It stands as a living symbol of shared commitment to upholding international law and maintaining a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific. The collaboration among these countries highlights the importance of partnership and mutual trust in addressing regional challenges. The US and Australia, both key members of the AUKUS Security Pact, join forces with Canada and the Philippines to reinforce a growing network of alliances. This cooperation strengthens regional security and sends a strong message that aggression and unilateral actions will not go unchallenged. By training together, sharing knowledge, and building interoperability, these nations send a clear and unified message. The defense of maritime law and the protection of international waters is a collective responsibility, shared by all who value peace and stability. This is not just a routine exercise, it is a powerful statement of intent, a promise to future generations that the region's freedom, security, and prosperity will be safeguarded through unity and cooperation. The main goal of these exercises is interoperability, ensuring allied navies can operate as one. Crews practice secure communications, coordinated maneuvers, and joint patrols, simulating real-world crisis response. Search and rescue drills build both humanitarian and combat readiness. At the heart of it all is a commitment to a rules-based order, referencing the 2016 tribunal ruling that affirmed the Philippines' rights. These activities are a deterrent, signaling that any attempt to change the status quo will meet a united response. For the Philippines, it's a boost in confidence. For its allies, it's an investment in regional stability. The message is clear: freedom of the seas will be defended with action, not just words. These drills are a practical demonstration of that resolve. The exercises unfold near Scarborough Shoal, a flashpoint claimed by both the Philippines and China. Since 2012, China has maintained a constant presence here, controlling access to vital fishing grounds. For Manila, Scarborough is both a livelihood and a symbol of sovereignty. For Beijing, it's a strategic outpost. A military foothold here would let China project power across the South China Sea, threatening regional security and shipping lanes. The Allied drills near this contested area are a calculated challenge to China's control and a show of support for the Philippines. Their presence underscores that international law, not coercion, should determine the fate of these waters. Official statements from the Philippines, the United States, Australia, and Canada all emphasize the importance of cooperation, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to upholding international law in the region. These nations have repeatedly voiced their dedication to maintaining peace and stability, especially in the increasingly contested waters of the South China Sea. The Philippines, for its part, describes the recent joint military drills as a lawful and necessary exercise of its sovereign rights. Officials stress that these activities are not meant to provoke, but rather to assert the country's legitimate claims and to ensure the safety and security of its maritime territory. The United States, echoing its long-standing position, reaffirms its ironclad alliance with the Philippines and its unwavering commitment to freedom of navigation and overflight. American officials highlight that these operations are essential for preserving open sea lanes and deterring any attempts to restrict access to international waters. Australia and Canada, meanwhile, underscore their vested interest in a stable and rules-based Indo-Pacific. Both countries point to their adherence to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, emphasizing that international norms must be respected by all parties to prevent conflict and ensure fair access to maritime resources. In stark contrast, China strongly condemns the joint exercises, labeling them as provocative acts that threaten regional peace. Chinese officials warn that waving naval guns in our backyard will not intimidate us, and accuse the allied nations of interfering in what Beijing considers its internal affairs. Beijing maintains its claim of indisputable sovereignty over the South China Sea and vows to take all necessary measures to defend its territorial integrity and national interests, regardless of external pressure. These sharply divergent perspectives highlight the deep and growing divide over the future of the South China Sea, with each side presenting a fundamentally different vision for the region's order and security. The allied nations consistently frame their actions as efforts to uphold peace, stability, and the rule of law, seeking to reassure the international community of their peaceful intentions. China, however, views these maneuvers as unwelcome interference and a direct challenge to its sovereignty, fueling further mistrust and suspicion. As rhetoric intensifies on both sides, the risk of miscalculation or unintended escalation grows, raising the stakes for all countries involved and for the broader international community. With tensions mounting and the world's attention focused on the region, the question remains, which vision for the South China Sea will ultimately prevail and at what cost? China's reaction was swift, launching its own combat patrols and releasing images of warships and aircraft shadowing the Allied drills. Beijing's 9-line claim, rejected by international courts, remains central to its narrative of sovereignty. The PLA's maneuvers are part of a gray zone strategy: assert control without open conflict, keeping tensions high. China's land reclamation and militarization of artificial islands have already changed the region's landscape. State media frames these actions as defensive, blaming the US and its allies for militarizing the area. By conducting parallel patrols, China projects itself as a regional guardian, justifying its assertiveness to both domestic and international audiences. This ongoing standoff is shaping the new normal in the South China Sea. For Southeast Asian nations, the drills and China's response create a precarious balancing act. ASEAN's consensus model makes unified action difficult, as members weigh security needs against deep economic ties with China. Some, like Vietnam and Malaysia, quietly support the Philippines but fear being drawn into a great power clash. Economic dependence on China tempers open alignment with the US-led coalition. Internal divisions weaken ASEAN's ability to negotiate a binding code of conduct with China. As military activity intensifies, the risk of miscalculation grows. One incident could spark a wider crisis. The region is forced to react, modernizing defenses and seeking new partnerships, but the path forward remains uncertain. The four-nation drill highlights a new web of Indo-Pacific security alliances, flexible, overlapping, and rapidly evolving. Beyond the US-Philippines Treaty, Australia and Canada's involvement signals a broader international consensus on regional security. Direct cooperation between US allies like Australia and the Philippines is growing, making the network more resilient. The Quad and AUKUS further expand this lattice work, with technology sharing and joint exercises aimed at countering China's rise. For Manila, this shift means less reliance on a single ally and more diversified support. A multilateral approach makes it harder for China to isolate any one nation. The defense of maritime law is now a shared international concern, not just a bilateral issue. These alliances are fundamentally reshaping the region's strategic landscape. These joint exercises are a snapshot of the Indo-Pacific's new reality, alliances strengthening, tensions rising, and the rules-based order under pressure. The sight of Allied warships in contested waters is both a deterrent and a risk. Miscalculation could trigger crisis. Southeast Asian nations must balance economic ties with China against their own security and sovereignty. The growing network of alliances offers leverage but also demands careful management to avoid escalation. The ultimate goal, a peaceful, stable maritime environment where all can prosper. Achieving this requires renewed diplomacy and a binding code of conduct, respected by all. As the warships depart, the South China Sea remains a central stage for global competition. Its future will shape the course of the 21st century,